You can either live your dreams or live your fears. And I think the majority of people actually are not living their dreams, but are living their fears. So I want to ask you a question. What are your fears? What are you afraid of? What are you scared of? Because we all have fears, don't we? We all have something that's blocking us, that's holding us back. And as we begin to look at life, what we realize is that the reason that most people are not living out their true potential and not doing all of the things that they would really like to do is because of fear. Some people call fear false evidence or expectations appearing real.
Everything's normal. So you fly and you go up, you go up, you go up, you go up to 14,000 feet. And you notice there's a light. It's red and it's yellow and green, right? So right now the light's red. So then you start thinking at some point the light's going to go green, but you don't know what's going to happen.
If you want to be successful, here's the thing you have to do. You have to jump. There is no way around it. You have to jump. Every successful person has jumped. You got to jump. You got to take a leap of faith.
And it goes yellow, and the light goes green, and somebody opens the door.
I want to tell you something that every successful person has to do, including you. Believe it or not, every successful person in this world has jumped.
And your toes are on the edge, and you're looking out down to death. They say, on 3, and they say, 1, 2. The problem with fear is that it lies. And in 1 second, you realize that it's the most blissful experience of your life. You're flying. There's zero fear. You realize that the point of maximum danger is the point of minimum fear. Why were you scared in your bed the night before? What do you need that fear for? Just don't go. Why are you scared in your bed 16 hours before you jump? Why are you scared in the car? Why could you not enjoy breakfast? Fear of what? You're nowhere even near the airplane. Everything's up to the stepping out. There's actually no reason to be scared. It only just ruins your day. The choice of trying to go forward versus clinging and clawing backwards, so I do want to aggressively go forward and do new things and create and hopefully be able to stumble upon a new heyday. I'm telling you, the confrontation with fear is an absolute magical way of facing the things we have to do in this life. Forget security, live for experience.
You are going to have to jump. You cannot just exist in this life. You have got to try to live. If you are waking up thinking that it's got to be more to your life than it is, man, believe that it is. Believe in your heart of hearts that it is. But to get to that life, you're going to have to jump.
Good people have to get out of the bed every day and try to empty the ocean with a ladle.
One summer, his dad tore down a brick wall on the front of his business and told 12-year-old Will and his 9-year-old brother to rebuild it, a job they said was impossible. It took them a year and a half, but they didn't.
And he said, now don't you ever tell me it's something that you can't do.
You don't try to build a wall. You don't set out to build a wall. You don't say, I'm gonna build the biggest, baddest, greatest wall that's ever been built. You don't start there. You say, I'm gonna lay this brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid. And you do that every single day, and soon you have a wall.
What are the things that you feel that's been keeping you from living your dream? That's been keeping you from doing some things that you would like to do? Just think about those things. You must be willing to go forward and face your fears again and again and again. It's perfectly fine to have some fears. You acknowledge your fears, you embrace those fears, and then you move on.
I gotten probably 2 weeks into my preparation for the film, and my father was diagnosed with cancer. You know, first it stunned me. I was, forced to face, my father's mortality.
He decided for whatever reason that he wanted a new wall on the front of his shop. So he tore down probably about 16 feet high and probably about 30 feet long. He just completely tore. A year and a half. We were building this wall for a year and a half. Every day after school, we were coming, mixing concrete, putting it in the hole, doing it. And it was just myself and my little brother. A year and a half later, we laid the final brick. And my father stood back and he looked at me and my brother and said, don't y'all never tell me that you can't do something.
You can either live your dreams or live your fears. And I think the majority of people actually are not living their dreams, but are living their fears. So I want to ask you a question. What are your fears? What are you afraid of? What are you scared of? Because we all have fears, don't we? We all have something that's blocking us, that's holding us back. And as we begin to look at life, what we realize is that the reason that most people are not living out their true potential, are not doing all of the things that they would really like to do, is because of fear. Some people call fear false evidence or expectations appearing real.